Hey guys, everybody's been looking for a workout that they can do at home, and trust me, I miss you guys, probably more than you miss me, but we'll talk about that later on. So what I'm excited to bring today is a program that I call the Fit4, and it is a very simple plug and play formula that you can do yourself with very minimal equipment, probably with whatever you have around your house. So let me explain the Fit4. It is just that. We're going to work in 4 groups today, and within each group we have 4 different exercises. A pulling muscle or pulling exercise for the upper body, a pushing exercise for the upper body, a lower body exercise that's also going to accelerate that heart rate, get your cardio in, and then core. Our goal is to do each one of those for 1 minute, which adds up to that 4th minute. After those 4, you're going to take a minute off to recover, get water, set up your next station, and then we'll repeat another group of 4. Now, what if you don't make a minute? That's okay. Take a rest, make that minute next week or the next time you do it, and you will be getting better. So all we need for this workout today, we're going to do the entire formula with a band and your own body weight. From there, I'd suggest a stopwatch, something with a second hand if you can see it, anything that can keep time with a minute, because you're going to be trying to go non-stop. I'm going to just show you the exercises, give you some tips on these so you can do this on your own. Description and layout will be below with the comments. So our first group, to get things started, we're going to do an upper body pull. So if I take my band and have a high attachment, if it's on the top of your door or over a railing somewhere, stepping back, chest lifted, I'm strong in the legs, pulling elbows into the body, letting the shoulder blades pull together behind me the entire time, so I'm working through the upper back. Again, one of the best things we can do for the posture. You're going to do that for a minute, then immediately take an about face, and we're going to work into a chest press. And so if you keep the attachment up high, the angle we're going to look at with the arms, the elbows are going to have to be higher than the hands, meaning I'm driving my hands toward the floor while keeping the rest of my body as still as possible. Errors that you want to look out for would be letting the hands fly above the elbows. So I'm pressing down, the chest muscles are working, my shoulders and the triceps are getting a little bit of love as well. 1 minute of that, then immediately on to the next exercise. I'm going to work a squat with the band. I can start here as I would with a barbell, or I can hold a little lower. That's going to be up to you. Once I'm anchored, hips, knees, shoulders move together, and then one powerful motion right back up. If that minute gets a little hot, hey, bring it down right here or unload the band. And so that's the 3, and then now the 4th is our core motion. So the first thing we're going to do is get it started nice and easy. 1 minute of a plank of your choice. So let me show you a couple options. I like to be here on the hands because at that position I am weight bearing maybe a little bit more, and I'm also building myself up to doing a great push-up. But if that's not your thing, walk it in so the elbows are under the shoulders, and from that position, head, hips, and heels in one great line. I want to try to stay here for a minute, but if I start to sag and lose control of my core, I tuck the knees in, I hold right there. Each one of those for 1 minute. Now you would take your minute off, move on to a next group. So again, we start with a pulling motion for the upper body. So this time, we're going to take it to a rowing position. So if I have the luxury of being able to attach the band about chest height, I'm now going to line up, chest lifted, in a horizontal pulling motion. So again, I'm leading with the shoulder blades, letting the elbows follow. And again, the Netflix binging and all that other stuff we're doing right now, that's going to help pull that posture back out. I'm going to keep it in the same spot, and now I'm going to take my chest press and turn it into an alternating motion. So I can stagger my stance, both hands out, but then now I'm going to release one, return, release the other. So some of you may think about it as a punching motion or a one-arm pushing motion, but notice this, the arm that's staying out, it's actually getting a little bit of work as well. My tricep is going to work isometrically to keep me there. I finished that minute. Heart rate is up already. Then we move into the lower body. So for this segment, I want to try a lateral lunge. And what that means, one foot's going to be anchored. I'm going to stride out, but the name of the game is not how far I can stride out. I stride out small. I sit back into the hip, almost like a squat. I'm going to push off, and because we're just going for a minute, you can do 30 seconds on one leg, or if you're using a timer that doesn't have a second hand, let's go side to side, reset. What I love about a lateral lunge, even if you just take it from here and add it to your own program right now, so many great things are happening. I get a stretch on this side, I get strength on this side, and I learn to decelerate, hit the brakes, and push off. Hit the brakes and push off. So it's a great move, so many different benefits. Now the core, we're gonna get a little tougher. I'm gonna call these knee tucks. You might think of them as a slow motion mountain climber. So I'm gonna line it up. Again, a little extra weight bearing. Shoulders stacked above the elbows and wrists. And one level might be right here. Take my knees forward. If I need to tuck down or tap the floor, I can do that as well. Rest from here. Work from both knees. But the name of the game, as stable as you can be. And that will be your second 5 minutes. Now we're on to a third group. So we're going to add a little bit of movement to our band work right now. So if I can get that attachment back up high at the top of the door over the railing, I'm going to make a pull down with a reverse lunge. So chest is lifted, stepping back, reset. So my upper body is still moving the same way we did in our first round with the pull down, but now I'm adding a lunge. And the more parts that are moving, the higher that heart rate's going to get and the better we are going to be. And now for the pressing motion, I'm going to come back to my midpoint, wrap it lower around the railing or the middle of that door attachment, and now I'm going to step and press. Stepping out powerfully, but keeping the chest lifted as if I'm pushing a door down. I come back in, I step forward, and I return. If you haven't done this, what you will find with the band is the first thing that might happen looks like this, and it pulls you back. So we're getting some sneaky core work right here. As I step in, I have to return under control each time. And then now lower body for this segment, we're going to go to a crossover lunge. Sometimes I call it a curtsy lunge, but I usually can't spell it correctly, so I call it the crossover. What you're going to do from this anchored position, wrap that trail foot around, still sinking into the hip. It does not have to be straight. I can sit into this hip. It's going to shift, reset, step through the other way. It can be a small move or a big move, but what's so great about it is, again, our glutes, all the muscle fibers back there don't necessarily run north-south. We've got 3 groups of muscles, and so by training, moving in those different directions, you're going to work the glutes more fully. And so now we're stepping it up again on our third round of core work, and we're going to work with the plank walk. So if you haven't done this before, let's take it from the knees. And all we do, elbow down, hand under, hand under. Then you can switch your lead. If you forget which one over the course of the minute, not that big a deal. If you want to challenge yourself, go from the toes. And no matter what option you're doing, core is working, arms are working, shoulders are working, but you're also working that real world skill of getting up and down off the ground, so we never ask for help, no matter what age we are. We'd rest a minute, and then we start our fourth and final group. So this would be 6 minutes 16 through 20 to wrap things up with. So we finish with some smaller muscles. I'm going to take my band, do a good old tricep extension if that's what I have. So you anchor up near the top of your door. Line up position. Further away you are from the anchor, the more resistance you're going to have, so the harder it's going to be. But I want to begin with my elbows under my shoulders, wrists nice and straight, and then I want to put my hands in my side pocket. The main thing to remember is align yourself in a position so that you can straighten your arms all the way out. Because if I'm so far back and I'm here, I'm robbing my tricep of its actual function. The tricep's job is to straighten your elbows. So I want to make sure I get those down there. So maybe you start here, then move in over the course of the minute. Next minute, we go to the front of the arms, the bicep muscles. Nice and simple. All you need to do is stand If your band is heavier, you may stand with one foot. If it's lighter, you're feeling strong, stand with both feet. Elbows line up under the shoulders, and keeping the elbow here, hands just under the shoulders, and we pivot. From the side, what I want to make sure I do, keeping my elbow right under my shoulder, nothing else moves. And then finally, the last lower body we're going to do is what you might know as a speed skater. So we're going to get some lateral training and deceleration. One side, then the other. If you haven't done this before, my feet don't have to leave the ground. If you've done this a bit more, you can add a little more power, a little more range, and again, you're here for a minute, so you're not committed. You can do a little of each. And our final set of core work, we're going to get into the backside a little bit as well. So I'm going to call them a bridge walk, but it's going to be a way of working the hamstrings, the back of the leg, and the glutes while we also work the core. So neck is down, lift the hips, chest lifted, walk the heels in so you have some place to go. And then from here, step out, pull back, pull back. So the leg extends, but while the leg extends, the hips stay up. Then we pull back and return. Doing this for a minute. If you need to come down for a moment, you come down, then you bridge right back up, nice and high. You hear that alarm go off? You've done your last minute. You finished all 4 groups and gotten a great total body workout in 20 minutes. So next time I see you, we'll work through this with dumbbells. If you have questions or want to figure out how to do this on an individual level with equipment you have, friends, family members, whoever you're working out with, drop me a message. We'll take care of you. See you next time.